Yer, what's poppin'? What's poppin'? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Show the comments on stage. Where y'all coming in from? Talk to me. Talk to me. Let's get some music going. Yer. Hey, from VA. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Monsoon Lagoon. Thank you, Spoon Killer. I appreciate it. I'm trying my best. Throw all the cities on screen as you see them. Taiwan, I want to shout them out as they come. I see PNW was popping. Mark Black, Simply VV from Dallas. VV. Dreezy Mobbins, Kansas. What's good? Good to see you too. Las Vegas with the name Orlando. What's popping? Anthony Nelson. Hey, brother. What's up with you? Marcel Saway. I've seen you in the comments before. What's popping? Oakland in the house. Shout out to Oakland. I've been there before. SF from Spoon Killer. Yo, 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 yo. London, ACDT. Not far from where I used to live in middle school. It's a long time ago. Dr. Nini 24 from Maryland. Welcome, welcome. I've been seeing a lot of people with doctor at the beginning of their name in my comments. I'm honored that y'all would spend your time with me. BGT Sound and Vision from Toronto. What's good? What's good? Tiger Darling from ATL. We neighbors. Good to see you. Mr. Converse 2000 from A-Town. AA. We got more A-Town residents. Mississippi. Old Man Johnson's farm. I love it. I love it. Oshaya. That's a complex name to say. Oshaya R from Cincinnati. San Diego, Keita Berry, what's popping? I'm in here just to like fellowship. I'm here to talk about the last episode, but I missed y'all, man. Like I've been outside, I've been socializing, I've been getting around, being an adult, being a person, and feel good coming back. I think this is the second stream? Second stream since I moved here. Another one from London. We international, bro. Wind shaking oak tree. Appreciate y'all joining, man. Appreciate y'all spending some time. We got 100 people in here right now, so I might as well kind of warm up the main topic. Y'all keep chatting. I appreciate y'all being here. So if you haven't watched the last episode of Deep Dives, it was about, which and some of y'all haven't, like statistically some of y'all haven't, it's about Malcolm Tanner. He calls himself Dr. Malcolm Tanner, and he's from Indiana originally. And so the whole point of that last discussion was that he has this trajectory that he's followed, right? From being somewhat of a community service type of guy who's giving presents to people and presents to kids and stuff like that, which I praised him for in the video. And then he kind of progressed to pushing people to trade Dogecoin back when it was, legitimately at least a good investment to some degree. And then he progressed to running for president. And at the same time as that presidential announcement, he also started this movement to give people free homes, right? He called his group the Melanated People of Power. And he started pushing these promos on social media that pushed this idea of like, you're tired of paying rent? Are you tired of having bills and being controlled by, the government and your circumstances in your life and all that stuff? Basically playing into people's fears, insecurities, issues with the way the system currently works, and pushing them to move with him out to this settlement / compound in Texas. in Loving County, Texas, specifically, which is the smallest county in the nation. There's, as of 2020, there was 64 people there. 64 people. As I said in the episode, that's a neighborhood, right? Like that's nobody. And so in the middle of pushing people to come out to this compound, he announces that he's running for president in 2023 for the 2024 election. And as I showed y'all, he actually filed with the FEC, like he did it the right way. He was legitimately, at least on paper, a presidential candidate. And of course, he didn't raise enough money or have anything like that to actually make a ballot, to actually win any primaries or anything like that. But he did push out a whole lot of ads, like campaign ads, that were talking about his platform, which I outlined on Patreon, and we might get into some of that here because it is worth discussing. And what I really wanted to open up with was a little bit of a poll. See how this even works on here. There we go. Let's make that bigger. I'm sure that's big enough for y'all to see it, but it's in the corner. And for those of y'all who watch, you'd be able to answer this question. But it's basically, would you participate in a takeover of a town if the plan was well thought out? That's essentially the question. And when I say well thought out, I mean that like you're not headed out to a settlement with no utilities and random people constructing houses on cinder blocks and stuff like that. And it wasn't in a desert with no water. That's essentially the question, because there is underneath all the foolishness in the AI videos I showed, and I'll probably show some more of that. Behind all of that, right, there's a serious discussion here about the system we live under, the oppression that's inherent in our society as is, and the solution that he's proposing. If it wasn't a desert, if it wasn't a hostile takeover of a town where people already live, basically turning black people into colonizers, would you do it? Like, would you pick up everything you know, sell your house, sell your, I guess, break your lease in your apartment, and take your family or just yourself to this settlement? And what would it take for you to do so if not? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, this influencer slash grifter he's not charismatic to me, and a lot of y'all pointed that out. But he had enough pull and a convincing enough argument to get more than 0 people. There's a fucking fly in here. I'm sorry. More than 0 people to move out to the middle of nowhere, Texas, and that's not insignificant. This is gonna be a weird stream. People don't know what I'm swatting at. I'm checking out the results for the poll. More than 0 people said sure. So that's what I really want to get into. Like, y'all let me know in the comments if you said yes, or if you're thinking about saying yes. Y'all drop in the comments why. Like, why is it a yes for you? If you're just messing around, that's fine too. But if you legitimately would do it. Okay. Simply Vivi says the idea of it is more promising than the person who is presenting it. I think that's true. And to your question, Stevie Stove, wait, what's a takeover? I don't know if you are referencing not seeing the last episode or what, but essentially the plan here was to bring all these black people out to this deserted town, not deserted, but desert town, literally, and have them vote themselves into power. Basically, he's bringing people out there, and it's like, hey, you're the new commissioner, you're the new, I don't know, sheriff. And his plan was to overwhelm them with pure numbers and vote into power all of his community. So essentially, that's taken over, right? It's currently run by a bunch of white people, and he's trying to turn it into a black paradise where they have the political power and they benefit from the like $60 million budget that they have from oil and gas in that part of Texas. It's a very oil rich town. So that's the plan. He found the smallest county in the nation that also has the biggest budget and plans to go there and seize power. So that's the takeover I'm talking about. And I'm basically asking if you would participate in this, if it was better thought out and if there was better resources, because I think that's the most interesting angle. And for the record, it's a no for me. It's a hell no for me. I'll tell you all the reasons why, but I actually want to get y'all's feedback. Spoonkiller says people who would be attracted by this scheme would eventually turn on each other. I think you're correct, and we'll get into a little bit of that. A lot of people are referencing Jim Jones in Guyana. Yeah, is it Guyana? Guyana? I heard Guyana was wrong, so maybe it's Guyana. I want to make sure I'm saying that right. And yeah, his resume is all over the damn place. Like, I think a lot of the problems that I presented are with the person, right? With the person who's leading this group of people. But I don't know, man. Like, I think with a charismatic enough person who actually has their shit together, I feel like a lot more people would be drawn to something like this. And so that's why I see it as particularly dangerous. And yeah, it is a big leap from Crypto Bro to president. You skipped a couple steps. I would say local positions and politics and stuff like that. Mark Black says, sorry, I'm stepping on your feet, Taiwan, my bad. Mark Black says, I said yes, and I don't even care that it's a desert. As far as us being colonizers, how are we that when it's nothing more than using what they set up to get what we need? I get what you're getting at. The reason I would call it colonization is there were already people there, right? Whether it's white people, whether they're white racist people or not, set that to the side. There are already people occupying that county, and a lot of whom wouldn't want you to do something like this in such a hostile way with such a mean-spirited kind of approach to things. If you guys didn't see, there was a clip, which I might drop here to kind of support this argument, but there's a clip where he went to one of these auctions and he's talking over this white man that's running the auction and being all hostile. And the guy's like, look, y'all can buy these properties if you want to, just, follow the rules and we'd be happy to sell you this stuff. But he's talking over him as if he's supposed to be hostile when he wasn't. Like, he wasn't even trying to be hostile. And that part of it is very much colonization. It resembles in almost every way what Europeans did, except there's no military force involved. So colonization, under very kind of genteel processes or more gentle approach to it or subtle approach to it. Well, not subtle. He's not subtle. But I guess a less militarized approach to it is still colonization, because you're trying to overwhelm the native community through sheer numbers. And I don't know, maybe there is a middle ground, but I like to call it like I see it. And I think the early parts of this are colonization. Ghost towns. But Kita Cat, why would you dream of doing this if it's a ghost town? Like, what appeals to you about living in a ghost town? Like an abandoned... I just don't see it. I don't see the desirability of that. Maybe it's based on the status quo where you're at. Like, maybe your current place, city, way of living, neighborhood is in a state where that makes sense to you. Like, I'm trying to get your logic, but to me, this seems like a really bad idea. Lord of Brooklyn, BK for Life 146 says, I hope someone intervenes before it's too late. There were those who were warned before Jim Jones went to Guyana, and they were spared. Yeah, and that's real. I think that was the whole impetus behind me making my video, was like, let me jump in here at the early stages before anything really serious happens and a critical mass of people move out there, to just make sure everybody knows about this and that there's some kind of warning in the ether. Because I would hate to see that happen because there were black people in Jim Jones's settlement, right? I would hate to see that happen to so many of us. Not that I don't, not that I don't care about it happening to other people, but I really don't want to see a bunch of black people die in the desert. Like that's just, it's not great. And he's also praying. I just saw somebody say this, so I'm gonna put the comment on screen about taking advantage of people because I just saw somebody say that. There's a lot of comments. So that's a good problem to have, but I'm trying to find this comment. I want to give y'all credit when I can. There we go. Appreciate it, Taiwan. Miss Andrew. I see what you're doing there. One of my biggest issues is that he seems to prey on the vulnerable. That's exactly it. That's the point I was trying to make, was that, and right, it's difficult sometimes having these conversations because I never want to infantilize the subjects of my videos. These are grown ass people. Yes, they're most likely undereducated if they're falling for somebody like him, right? With no charisma, who clearly hasn't thought out all of this just because he was able to successfully buy some properties and buy some acres of land in the middle of the desert. You could jump to the conclusion that they're undereducated, right? And that they're vulnerable in some way. But I also, at the same time, want to give the subjects of my pieces agency and not just assume that they're not smart and they're gullible. Because if there's any takeaway from my videos and from the deep dive series and talking about scammers in general, it's that everybody can be scammed. Everybody can be tricked. Everybody can be grifted. I am not exempt from that. And under the right circumstances, a lot of people can be led astray. Look at Tariq Nasheed, the leader of the FBA movement. A whole lot of smart black people are following him, right? That's just a micro example of someone who's able to trick intelligent people by appealing to their sense of, I guess, blackness and their sense of xenophobia and insecurity in America. So yeah, I'm not trying to infantilize them by assuming all of them are vulnerable, but I think it's a safe bet, right? Chronic Toasty says, I'm wondering if they vote each other into power, that's all good and everything until heads start getting too big. I feel like it would only be a matter of time before people started throwing weight. And yeah, that references the comment towards the beginning where someone said that they would all turn on each other. And I think that's just the nature of power in politics. I won't say it's human nature. I'll say it's the nature of power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And so if you're taking it over and now your Uncle Charlie or your homie Andre from down the street is the commissioner, and you see that as your link to some kind of political power, you're going to abuse it. Like, that is the nature of power and how it tends to work in these insulated communities. And while Malcolm Tanner sees himself as this god at the center of everything, that's pulling the strings and, you know, showing himself to lead the people, and he's kind of turned himself into this de facto civil rights leader, he's not going to take too kindly to other people trying to step up and take his position, so on and so forth. It'll implode in on itself, in my opinion. And we've also seen these AI videos that where he's like, you know, kissing women and stuff like that. And to me, it's clear that he's planting the seeds to influence these people in a negative direction. So that's a very astute comment. And Kate and Pat, why announce it to the public? Why didn't he do this quietly? The answer to that is he couldn't. He was sued multiple times. He's been sued by Ken Paxton, is that the governor of Texas? Let me not get his name wrong. The Texas Attorney General. He's been sued by Texas's Attorney General for trying to pull this off. So it wasn't going to stay quiet. The Houston Chronicle did an investigation where they sent reporters out there. He's filed a bunch of lawsuits against them. So even if he tried to do this quietly, he wasn't going to be able to. But he also announced it on social media. He announced it on Clubhouse. And he needed to do that to get a critical mass of people to support him and move out there and do this. So I don't think he could have. But you're not wrong that it would have been a better idea to keep it more hush in the early stages until he got his shit together. Quite frankly, Marcel Saway, absolutely not. I don't like half baked travel plans, let alone plans that involve me moving my entire life to another state. Neither do I. That's why it's a hell no for me. I think it's a ridiculous idea. I just spent a lot of money and took a lot of time to move to this apartment, and that was a pain in and of itself. And I had movers, and I planned out the process, and it was still a little bit of a headache at times. So to be led out there to live on an RV and get gas cans and live in tents and shit, nah, dog. Like that's not the move. It's not the move. It's a really bad idea, and it's leading to a pretty disastrous end target, I think. Mrs. Toya Boo says perhaps if Obama started a country, I'd go. I don't agree, but I also get that you're joking, partially, most likely, but I don't agree. And I'm also not saying this to attack you, but Barack Obama is a participant in the mainstream liberal ideology that we kind of need to get away from, in my opinion. I don't see him as the kind of the Holy Ghost that a lot of black people see him as. It's great that him and Mom Donnie were smiling and laughing with children the other day in the video, but I don't think that's a good look either. There was a lot of issues with Obama. Not that I didn't vote for him twice, but that's not who we need to look to for progressive leadership. Honestly, Mom Donnie's a better person to look at for that than Obama is in a lot of ways. But again, that wasn't to attack you personally. It's just my opinion on things. I've been pretty clear about that. And establishment Democrats in general. Specs00, you'd need tax breaks and community benefits like parks and gathering spaces and necessities. Hard agree. You need a lot more social and political infrastructure to support a settlement like this. What he's essentially developing is a compound, similar to what really any cult movement like Waco, similar to what that community set up, and we know how Waco ended. So I think you need a lot more things to reinforce and bolster your community than that. Mike wants more. Sorry, I'm again stepping on your toes, Taiwan. Speaking of Jim Jones, PBS released an interview where they're talking to his adopted black son. I'll have to watch that. I didn't know that existed. Thank you for letting me know. I love PBS documentaries, so that's exciting. Colonel Stitch says if it was well thought out and had better planning, I would. Yeah, I hear y'all, and I know what the pull is, right? I understand the pull on black people who have been historically oppressed and are currently still oppressed to move out there. I don't even know if you're black, Colonel Stitch, but I was kind of posing that question to black people for the most part. I get where that pull comes from. I understand what would compel you to leave everything behind, try to start over. I was going to move to a different country last year. Then I had a breakup that kind of derailed that plan. And also I realized that I can't let a bunch of Nazis chase me out of my country, like the only country I've ever known, and then move to a country with somebody else's culture. So I'm glad it didn't work out, to be honest with y'all. And I prefer to stay and fight than to let this kind of hostile takeover force me to change everything about my entire life and everything I've known for 35 years. RR3901 says, no, thank you. I wouldn't want any parts of it. I like structure and despise chaos. Same, man. I think everything we've built and created here in the U.S., I think a lot of it is, up to us. A lot of it came from us, right? And for us to abandon all of that structure and the communities we've built, the neighborhoods we're used to, the family structures we've set up, and just blindly follow some dude that's promising us a semblance of reparations, I think it's short-sighted and very foolish. Again, always trying to be empathetic. Spec00. If I were paid six figures from an oil company to talk loud, I'd do it. Yeah. Well, y'all know where I stand with payoffs and actions. And again, you're probably half joking, Spec00. But even if you're not, I'll treat it seriously. I don't. There is no amount of money that would make me, do really anything. I lead everything with what is this decision going to do to my personal ethics, my sense of where I'm headed in life, and how is it going to impact those who look up to me and who may look to me for some semblance of leadership. Like I'm just a YouTuber, but some people do look up to me, and so I find a responsibility to them to not do random shit for money. Yeah, I don't blame you. Jay Nerdy 101 said, "Are there any laws in place to prevent a takeover on a federal level? I know you mentioned how people can do it, but do states have any legal prevention tactics?" I think that's being explored in Texas right now. Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General, is suing them, so that's a state level. But I don't know if there's anything technically blocking you from performing a takeover like this, unless you were trying to declare sovereignty and make it your own country inside of the U.S., which is essentially what a couple of other compounds have done historically. Then the feds step in, but I think this is a state issue for now. But again, my answer to that is also, I don't know. SZA Shrimmerd 88002 says that community would use every rule and by law enforcement in existence to keep that from happening. And yeah, that's what they're doing. They're suing, they're taking legal action against everything they can and making sure that he can't pull this off on any kind of large scale. But honestly, I don't think he has the organizational capability to pull this off on any kind of large scale. Like, this is not gonna work. Ghost towns are a ghost town for a reason. Spoon Killer, exactly. There's a reason not so many people live out there as of now. Print Fire says, "I think ghost towns give you the ability to build." Yeah, if you got the money and the infrastructure and the plan and the vision, then yeah, you could. It'll take a decade plus to create the kind of infrastructure that you need, in my opinion, to support this kind of movement, support this kind of community. Real quick, I'm going to put this one on screen and then I'm going to talk a little bit deeper into this topic because we haven't actually gotten into the meat of it. Mrs. Hendry says, "I don't trust Mom Donnie. Sorry. Tell me why." Well, maybe we'll get into this later. This video is not supposed to be about Mom Donnie, but also, I don't trust anybody, to be honest with you. But I trust some people more than others, and some people are more progressive than others. And that's always where my discussion is going to center around. But please let me know, star that response when she sends it in, Taiwan, if you can, and we'll get back to it. I'm going to jump into the kind of main story here a little bit more, into more detail. There's another video that reinforces my point that I kind of have to play. And again, I apologize in advance. This one is not a song. It has a song in it, and the song has his name in it. So I'm guessing that song is AI too, but it's more like gospel-y. But I showed a clip of this. It's like him romanticizing women and stuff like that. And it's kind of gross. It's kind of creepy. Nothing like actually gross. Yeah, this is another bop. I'm not even lying. So yeah, I'm going to play that, no further ado, and then we'll get back to the analysis after, and also let y'all chip in and put some comments in. Again, I don't support the creation of any of this, but it's important to my argument. That's why I'm showing it to y'all. I need y'all to bear with me.
can break, dreams can fall, love can rise through it all. Secrets hide behind the eyes, truth gets lost between the lies. Ooh, you can feel it in your soul when love takes control. Dr. Tanner knows your heart. Every ending has a start. When love ends and fate entangles, Dr. Tanner, love angles.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this one's different. Like as I said in the video, that one is just it's creepy. There's no other way to describe it. It betrays an end goal, I think, of transforming himself. In his mind, I think it's very subtle. What he's doing is dropping these seeds that lead to the perception of himself within this community as this desirable kind of paragon of virtue, that's being a civil rights leader, a presidential candidate, a genuine community service figure, but also a cult leader. I don't think there's another way to say it. I think that's in his mind what he's doing. And like I said in the video as well, luckily his audience is dropping off, right? And I think that's the only saving grace of this situation, is that less people are listening to him. So we can be happy about that. But I think hopefully y'all get the point that I'm trying to get across by playing these AI monstrosities that he saw fit to create, because it goes deeper than that. I also reviewed his Instagram in that video, and it's a bunch of repetitive AI images of him holding like a Bible and him leading a crowd full of AI black people. And so all of it adds up to a person who in real life is buying acres and acres of land and convincing people to come out to Texas to live in this settlement in RVs and whatnot. So he's doing all that in real life. He's also doing these, he's actually buying these pieces in, not pieces, but these acres of land, these homes in these auctions. So that's actually happening for real. I'm gonna put up a picture, if I can, of Dr. Tanner and some of the people that he purchased homes for. Because these are real people. You know what I'm saying? This is like not an imaginary situation that is AI. So yeah, this is him with a couple of people from this community that he's purporting to lead and put together. And what they're holding are tax sale certificates. And that's what you get in Texas when you buy a property that's either delinquent on taxes or condemned or something like that. And as I mentioned, the original owner of the property has like 180 days to reclaim the property. They can pay the bid price plus whatever taxes and take it back. But technically, this is a sale, right? They're technically the new owners, and they can collect the tax on it. They can collect any interest on that property if there is any, which in these cases there definitely isn't. And so he's at least partially doing what he said he was going to do, which is bring them out there, buy the houses. But of course, the missing part here, the gap in this plan, that's like huge. The big flaw in his plan is that there's no infrastructure to create these houses, to create more value in these houses, to repair them, to build them up to a usable level, to, in the cases where there aren't houses, but there's just land, there's no plan to effectively build usable homes. I showed y'all footage of him building something, like building the framework for a house, but he's promising hundreds of them, like thousands of homes in some of these videos. And that's just not happening. There's no way that's going to be, that's a realistic target for any one person, no matter how much funding he has from the donations that the melanated people of power are funneling into his organization. So I don't know, man. It's a clusterfuck. It's a lot going on. All right. Let me take this poll off screen. Appreciate it, Taiwan. All right. So I want to get back into the community discussion because I put the poll up. Some people said yes. Some people said maybe. Some people said no. And I want to get back into y'all's thoughts and also respond to some of y'all's questions. Sadie J says the AI fighting for its electricity, animating his mouth to these struggle lyrics. Yeah, man. I was talking to Taiwan before this started, right? About the progress AI has made. And to me, this kind of thing is actually a little unnerving, right? Not because it's coming from my job. I don't think they can do my job. I make long form content, so it's years and years from being able to do anything close to what I do. But at the same time, it is coming for short form creators right now as we speak. There's companies that are choosing not to work with small creators, like short form creators, not small, but short form creators on Instagram, TikTok, etc., because they can just hire a fake AI company or a company that makes fake AI products to create these ads for them. And some of them are very photorealistic, like better than you would think, way better than the video I just showed you or any of the videos I just showed you. And so we are creeping into an era where they're able to pass it up. Not so long ago, they couldn't even do fingers, right? And it was a frequent tell that you could pick out and be like, oh, that's AI. But they got fingers right for the most part now. I'm sure the articulation is still not all the way there, but that's not the go-to to figure out whether something's AI anymore. So that means that we're just at the beginning, and it's going to get better and better and better over time. So this is a real threat that we're going to have to deal with, and it's going to be around for a long time. It's already at a stage where it can trick our parents and grandparents in some cases. I don't know if y'all have dealt with that, but I have. So it's more serious than I think some of us are giving it credit for. But yes, that one was funny. I completely agree with you. Memony Cole says, is the vision in the room? Yeah, that was a reference to my statement about, I guess, the vision to create this settlement and compound. And yeah, no, Malcolm's clearly not the person. He's not the one to pull something like this off successfully. But somebody else might, you know. Taiwan, why you try to start fights, man? Like, I was saying that I'm not enthusiastic about the AI stuff, and laughing at it is not enthused. Dancing to it is not enthused. I was playing, man. I don't support any of this shit. But this is when I'm on a live stream. This is family. So E66IU playing that makes me want to join the cult. I hope not. I hope it's harder than that. Appreciate the comment. No, I don't have a label. At least not anymore. Chronic Toasty. We got a Team U cult leader before GTA 6. I saw that one earlier. That's hilarious. What was I about to say? Yeah, if y'all got any oh yeah. Questions. Mike once more says, why are so many cults headquartered in Texas? Well, I can answer that in part, right? People who've been here for a while are probably tired of me talking about religion, but Utah, Texas, these places are hot hubs for cults, religious groups in general, because religion in part runs the government in a lot of these states, in a lot of these regions. And those are hotbeds for MLMs and cults and organizations like that for that reason. And I think Texas is probably a big target because there's just so much damn land. So it's probably easier to secure a wannabe compound or settlement in the middle of nowhere. Not easier because there's no infrastructure, but easier just in terms of picking and choosing and finding your spot, right? That's my theory, at least. Yeah, Cowboy Dr. Umar. I completely agree with that. I think it's definitely shades of what Umar has put together, but without the actual physical settlement. Appreciate it, brother Woody. I'm trying my best, and I definitely will be back with more stuff. I'm just in the community discussion section of this now. I'm gonna keep this one short, actually, and we'll wrap it up by 8. So this is all just y'all's comments and me responding to them as we close this out. But I want to just make sure we're getting as much discussion around the topic as possible, and the pros and cons, right, of trying to pull something like this off. Exactly. Yeah, it is too expensive in California, just as an example, to run something like this. I completely agree. Hey, appreciate it. The replay will be on my streams replay channel. I'm trying to do like better with how I structure the upload and replay process, but it's not exactly easy, you know what I'm saying, to direct traffic from my main channel to a new channel. Like I've started 3 channels now that are like actually up and running, and I have more than that as well. So I'm trying to always, diversify where I put things and why. We're kind of always figuring it out as YouTubers. It's always a process. Sadie J, AI is very concerning, especially to think that the federal government is partnering with these AI companies. I wonder how these police department PR teams will be leveraging AI to pump out propaganda with vids. I think we've already seen some of that. I think we've seen that in the wake of Trump and his administration. They've been creating a lot of AI. I've seen a lot of pro-police propaganda via AI already. I'm not going to put that on the FBI's official account, but I've seen some pro kind of FBI propaganda via AI as well. So yeah, it's happening. I find it very concerning just from an ethical standpoint and environmental standpoint, but I'm just kind of scared for what it can do to vulnerable people, people who are naive, who are not as exposed to AI. I think it's going to wreak havoc among some of those populations. You know what I'm saying? That's spooky. And yeah, man, positive content. I just saw that comment too. I'm working on it. That's why I try to put humor and comedy in my videos at the same time. I can't be doom and gloom all the time. Like, I want to talk about things that are serious. I started this whole series on purpose to fight back against what I saw was the rise of white nationalism and scams and issues. Like the very first episode of Deep Dives, the reason I got into this was I was kind of looking in the mirror and beating myself up about like, yo, how did we get here? How did we get to a point where we elected somebody like Donald Trump? And to me, the red pill movement and the kind of omnipotent nature or omnipresent nature of scams, to me, was the number one reason while we got to a point where we could elect somebody like that. So I was like, what can I use as far as my skills, my capabilities to fight back against that and help solve the problem? And that got me started doing this. And ever since, I've just been like, okay, where's the scam? Where's the problem? And how can I present the information to an audience in a way that's entertaining, that can break that down and make it less threatening, less challenging, but also give us the tools to fight back. Hopefully, I've been successful to a degree. I'm trying my best, and I'm always open to kind of suggestions on ways I can take it further. But I'm looking this year to get into real life, talk to organizations on the ground, use my platform and my capabilities as a filmmaker to help them get their message out further if it's something I agree with. So that's next for me and how I push it forward. But back to your comment, positive content. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying, but I try to put the positivity in the pieces themselves, if that makes sense. Balance it out, because I don't think y'all are going to watch smiles and rainbows from me. I don't know what that looks like, and maybe you will, but I'll figure it out when the time comes. Christian Evans, 2199, as the economy gets worse, more people are going to use hope to scam people. 100%. I think that's what's happening with Malcolm, and it's what's happening with a lot of these other scammers. Time and time again, as I've analyzed this, they use hope, they use these promises wrapped in civil rights language, wrapped in reparations, wrapped in, the holy grail of what society could be, to take from us, steal, rob, deceive. I see through it because I've looked at so many scammers now, but my job is to try to convey that to everybody else, if that makes sense. Keeping Secrets 98, Cam, will you ever further discuss anything going on in the Red Pill Manosphere area? Absolutely. I'm working on a video right now for I want to say that's for the Crash Outs channel, maybe. But maybe it's for the main channel that actually talks about the Red Pill from a different angle. Y'all know me. I'm always looking for a unique way to talk about something. I don't like doing the same thing 90 other YouTubers have already done. And the Red Pill has been taken down pretty effectively by a lot of creators that I respect a lot. So my approach to it is something I haven't seen talked about a lot, and that's the women of the manosphere. I've been looking at them for a while. There's a lot of women that are grifting off of the Red Pill audience pretty hard. Like, they're leaning into, oh, y'all hate women? Well, I'm a woman and I hate women too. Like, here's all these examples of women we hate. And so I want to dive into that. I want to dive into what creates that, what circumstances create that, why that's a thing, and why the patriarchy and misogyny thrives within women, within the female population of the country. That's the aspect I want to look at and the angle I want to look at it from. But of course, I'll dive into more of the male stuff too, but I really want to look at kind of the subjugation of women to a point where they're able to fight for Red Pill ideology themselves. That to me is really interesting. The Meninist movement. Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of that as well. And I think, there's infinite angles we can approach this from, but I always try to use my talents and my skills, like the things I can bring to the table that are different from somebody else, to make the point more effectively whenever I talk about any of these topics. I saw two things, Flock, and I saw somebody ask about or comment about Rashad. I want to talk about both those things. E66IU, how do we fight the Flock cameras takeover? There's a good piece by Ben Jordan, BENN Jordan, about Flock cameras. I'm pretty sure that was what he was talking about. Definitely check out his channel and watch the video about Flock cameras or just camera surveillance in general. I haven't talked about it yet, but I would love to get into that topic if I can find an angle that makes sense about it. QG125, Rashad the Grifter will be to the rescue. So, as my kind of final word on Rashad, I did feature him briefly in this episode because he threatened to sue me, and it was tied to what I was talking about. Rashad presents a lot of mainstream liberal content on the Young Turks, and so I want to make it very clear, kind of once and for all, that a lot of the stuff he presents is unambiguously good, right? my takedown, quote unquote takedown, because I didn't take him down at all, but my quote unquote kind of expose about his academic credentials was me coming at an aspect of himself that he has perpetrated about, lied about, and used to bolster himself falsely. And not only the academic credentials, but he created a fake university that he used to, well, wanted to use to scam students. And if I'm going to come at conservatives, I have to come at progressives as well, because what I do here is I notice the early warning signs of someone who's going to take advantage of us. And now, whether the side of the aisle they're on, when it comes to that analysis, doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a progressive and you're starting to do some scammer shit, or you're a conservative and you're starting to do some scammer shit. My job is to call out the scammer shit. That's the basis upon which I operate. And that's why I had to take him down, or I guess take his academic credentials down. I don't like him. I don't like his approach to doing most things. I don't like his content. I think it's ridiculous and sensationalist and bottom of the barrel in a lot of ways. But I don't hate him. It just is what it is. He came across my radar in a bad way, so that was, kind of his fault. I just do what I have to do to make people aware of deceptive behavior that might end up hurting us one day. Because once I've warned you, once I've told you, you can't say I didn't. And I think that's the best note to wrap this up on. I told y'all I would end at 8. I'm trying to stay true to that. There's probably a bigger discussion here that I can go into later, but I appreciate y'all joining me. I wasn't going to do this today. Like, sometimes I'm like, do they even want to talk to me today? Is this even interesting enough? But I'm glad y'all all decided to show up. I really appreciate the support. And I'm about to eat. The edited version of this will show up on my streams channel. It'll be shorter, punchier, easier to share with people. So stay tuned for that. I'll share it when it's done on the main channel and on that channel. And much love for y'all. Thank y'all for showing up. And thank y'all for watching these exposés time in, time out. I can't do any of this without y'all. So much love, and catch y'all next time.